did Africans who came over to North America encounter Christianity for the first time on the slave plantation. Mm-hmm. And so the work of these scholars have helped me understand that no, there were already Africans who are Christian, who have been Christian on the Atlantic side of the ocean, African part, at least as early in a consistent way as 1490 or so. So that's before Christopher Columbus, and that's before, obviously, then the transatlantic slave trade. That church, which is the key church, there are Christians in Bari, and there's Christians where Nigeria is. There's Christians in Benin, also where Nigeria is. There are also some Christians a little further north in Senegambia. But the continuous community was the one in the Congo. And it was not only continuous, but it was one, to my amazement, as John Thornton and others said, that by 1516, they opened up a school system that has over 1,000 students who are learning to read and to write. And they're educating men and women. Europeans aren't doing that for the most part in any systematic way in 1516, but these Congolese Christians were. And then King Afonso believed that we should be like the church in Europe, which means we should have a bishop, just like they have. And so therefore he pushed for it. The Portuguese were against it, but the Pope agreed with them. And so they consecrated his son, Enrique. And so, and then they planned to open up a college in 1560s that they aren't able to open until about 1620. And so you have this literate class. You have book culture already in the Congo in the 1500s. And so it's out of that population, that larger population, that Linda Hayward, John Thornton, and others are saying that on that slave ship that arrives in 1619 are Christians. Why might that be significant? Because that might mean that it is not the Great Awakening that brought Africans to Christianity. It is not a preacher on a slave plantation that brought Africans to Christianity, but it's Congolese Christians who were forced over here. But they were Christian when they got on the boat, and they were Christians when they got off the boat. And so when one then looks not at Virginia, but when one looks at what becomes New York, the Dutch colony, you will see by the 1630s, there are Africans who are probably of Congolese descent who are part of the church there in what becomes New York. They become free by 1650. They become landholders by 1560s. And out of that, there are African Christians who are there. If you recall, in 1640s, in the legislature in Maryland, there is a person of African descent who's a legislator, who's there, who is also a Christian. And then there are Christians not only in Virginia, but there's Christians in Low Country, South Carolina. And so therefore, it looks like to me, just to me, based on that evidence, that they are the ones that do the first evangelizing, and that they are evangelizing a Christianity that's not a slave religion. Right. They're evangelizing Christianity that is based upon the fact that there's a school system, you're educated, there's college. It's based on text and not merely on orality.